Okay, you guys, so before we get into today's topic, I have to show you. I redid my crafting space and my room and my toy collection, and it looks so nice, and I'm so happy with how it came out. Little unknown fact, I don't advertise this very often. I collect 90s and early 2000s toys from when I was a kid. I have everything in here from tons of Sailor Moon merch, to Bratz dolls, to witch dolls. I have Lizzie McGuire stuff in here. I have Polly Pockets, Anastasia, Barbies. I have a lot of stuff going on. And for the longest time, I just had a huge bundle of mess because I live in a small apartment. I have nowhere to put anything. And for my birthday this year, I finally did a research, cleaned, organized all my stuff, and then put in these beautiful IKEA shelves. So I now have a place for my physical media. I now have a place for all my fabric. Yay, that actually is hidden because it gets really messy down there. I have all my craft bins, which aren't even labeled yet, but I swear they are so much cleaner. And the best part of all of this is my Murphy desk, which I have needed. This little baby, this shelf pops right out and turns into a pull-out desk. And because of that, I can put my sewing machine on it and I can sew and I can craft and I can cut, and I have all my stuff, my ribbons and my threads and all this. Sorry, it's very messy because I'm in the middle of projects right now. I made a Roman blind and then it broke, so it's down on the ground. But the whole point of this is that this is the setup. Here, my gamer desk, this is usually where I play all my games. I play 7 Days, I play Repo, I play whatever friend game we've decided on or whatever I'm really into at that moment. And the problem is when I am sewing and when I'm gaming, I need to separate it because there's not enough room on that desk. And yeah, so look at that. So beautiful, right? Oh, looks so nice. So anyways, let's actually get into the video today. Thank you guys for coming on that tour. I'm really, really happy. I don't normally spend a lot of money on stuff, but for my birthday this year, I was like, girl, you need to organize all your craft stuff. If trying to craft makes you upset because you don't feel like you have the room or organization, it's time to make some changes. And the IKEA furniture, IKEA is not cheap anymore. It's very expensive. So I'm really happy that I did this. It was a huge project. It took me my entire birthday weekend and then the next week just to get the furniture set up, everything put into place, all of that. And I'm still making changes. I haven't labeled stuff. There's things that I still need to figure out what I'm doing with. But overall, I have done a lot of crafting and I love it. I love I can game at this desk and then I can go over and pull my desk out and sew on that one. I can go back and forth. It's been nice. It's been a good change. So now that I've showed you the happy parts, let's get into the controversy. Let's talk about things that make me very upset, and let's talk cosplay. So hello, you guys. If you don't know who I am, my name is Lynn. I am a cosplayer. I've been around forever. I started doing cosplay in 2006, and I am not an influencer. Never have been, never will be. I don't get paid to go to events. I'm never going to be a judge. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be paid for it. I love doing cosplay, and I am of the old school mindset because I started doing cosplay when it was not popular and people were not liked for doing it. And I grew acceptance to that. I have an Instagram and I post pictures and do little videos and stuff because I really love the characters and the costumes I make. But being popular or having 1 million followers has never, ever been my goal. What my goal with doing these videos has been is bringing up topics that are not talked about in our community and trying to make discussion around them. So if you agree with me, I don't want you to feel alone in this. People out there experience the same things as you do, just sometimes them talking about it is not as popular as just seeing a pretty person in a pretty outfit. But we're out here. So the events and the topics that I'm going to bring up today are 100% not paid, not sponsored. I am going to be really super honest, to the point where I'm going to piss people off, kind of honest, but that's how it has to be. And if you don't agree with all my points, that's okay, but just keep watching because I might have a nugget of truth in there that you might be like, okay, I want to think about this. This does affect me in some way. So what we're talking about today, guys, is the very simple topic. Do events not like cosplayers? Because for as much as they use us as their marketing, and as much as they talk about us, and as much as they have made us a socially acceptable thing, their actions speak so much louder. And their actions show signs of disrespect. They show signs of neglect. They show signs of money grabbing and just this insane amount of greed that I keep seeing. Now, this has always been around, but the fact is, when I started doing cosplay forever ago, we knew people didn't like us, and we were okay with that. So to have something shown as being very, very, like, not only socially acceptable, but like, come and do cosplay at this event, or we love cosplayers, we have all these cosplay areas, or like, oh, we are a cosplay convention, like saying stuff like that, and then having actions that go completely against those words in every way, shape, and form is not only insulting, it is enraging. Cosplay is expensive. Making costumes, buying all this stuff for doing my hobby, it is expensive. And I don't mind paying that money, and I don't mind like going to an event to see if I will like it or not. But going to an event over and over and over and seeing it degrade over time, and just like, clearly you've never liked cosplayers, you don't like them, you don't want to spend money on them. Stop lying to yourselves. That is what we're going to talk about today. And I want to go through all of the ways that I have seen the actions of events speak so much louder than any marketing campaign could ever do for them. And I want you guys as cosplayers to realize you control what you go to, what you spend your money on, and if you want to like an event or not. So it's okay to go to something and be like, this is not for me. Like, this is not for the way I do cosplay. This is not for my friends. This is not for the causes that I support. You know, put your money where your mouth is. Let's talk that way. So the first thing that I have noticed that this was such a big thing going on in my world that it was actually my goal to avoid these events for as long as I possibly can, which is cash grab events. We have way, way too many cash grab events. And I actually had a friend that was like, what is that? Like, what's a cash grab? I was surprised she had never heard of it. But the thing is, a cash grab event is sneaky. It's so sneaky, you might not even realize what you're going to is one. But typically what happens is that an event will market itself as this really fun, entertaining, either weekend event, maybe a single night event. Sometimes it's, they use so many different terms for them that it's a little hard to see what it actually is. But if you live near a major area or major city, you probably have seen many, many of these. The whole point of the event is they want you to pay money to get in the door, and then as soon as you're there, you end up just spending an insane amount of extra money just to even entertain yourself while you're there. Maybe it's everything extra costs extra, like you get there, but to actually do anything costs more money on top of just getting in. Other times it's done in other ways, like you get in and you realize the majority of the event is shopping. So you've paid money to come in and pay more money to shop, which, like, it breaks my brain. I'm like, we're already living in such a capitalist society. We're already living in an area. It's like, everything is expensive. People are trying to cut down costs. People are trying to save money where they can and reduce subscriptions and reduce things that they add up. So to have these events be like, oh, pay $15, $20, $30, $40, $60 to get in, but also the whole point of the event is that you're going to shop while you're here. No, I'm not doing any more of those. Those are insane. If I want something, I will go online to buy it, or I'll go in person to a store, but I'm not paying money to come shop at your booth. That's crazy to me. Now, I know there's things like artist alleys and, stuff at conventions, and those I don't think count, because a lot of those artists would have a lot of trouble being viewed if people didn't be able to go to their booth. But bigger than that, the conventions themselves have many other events going on that make it so that the badge price you are paying is worth it. Even if you do go and shop there, you get to go to panels for free. You get to go to industry events for free. You get free things. And that's another point that I want to bring up, is that if you go to an event where you're paying to get in, something needs to be free there. A long time ago, going to conventions meant that you got goodie bags full of free merch. And that was usually things that were like given away at industry booths, or it might be whoever sponsored the event, like, hey, we're sponsoring this, and also everyone gets like a free little manga book, or like even weirder. When I went to SoccerCon way back when, like high school, I have a DVD of the first 2 episodes of Azumanga Daioh. It was literally on one of those little mini DVDs that they like, it's not even full size, it's like tiny. But I was going through my DVD case and found this recently, and I was like, oh my God, you know what that makes me think of is like, when was the last time SoccerCon gave out things? Like when you go to pick up your badge, when was the last time they gave you a goodie bag full of free stuff that was actually kind of fun? They stopped doing that. So they've cut down on their costs, which I don't even think it was cost, because I'm pretty sure the sponsors were like doing that for free. But like all the merch, the grab bags, the goodies are just, they're disappeared. It's like they don't want you to get things for your money anymore. That is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. So we have all these events that are like pay to get in. We might give you 1 or 2 free things, but the whole majority of this is that you're going to be spending money to shop and then buy food here. And then maybe even on top of that, even worse, we might have extra panels or events you have to pay even more to get into. So I talked about going to a fantasy ball. What was that, like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, where it was very clear it was a cash grab event. It was marketed as this like beautiful, huge event, and then you go there and it was like every single thing, like all the drinks and everything costs extra. The food was a complete joke. The music was a complete joke. Everyone had shown up in these really beautiful outfits and costumes, which there was nothing to do in them. So it was kind of like they were using people in costume to get more people in costume to pay money to be there. It just felt weird. It felt like I didn't like it. Guys, stop going to events that have no reviews. If it's a new event and it pops up and it's like, oh my gosh, there's a fantasy ball in your city and it costs $80 to get into it, it's going to be so fun and so beautiful. No, don't go. It's a scam. It is clearly a scam. We have a lot of scam events, but the cash grab events, guys, we need to talk about these. When something is touted as like a Halloween market, an oddities expo, a cosplay night, things like that, where you're paying your money to get in and they want you to wear outfits, they want you to wear costumes or whatever. No, we're not doing that anymore. We're not spending our money to spend money. That is just silly and stupid in today's day and age. Okay, before we go on, I need a little coffee. The next thing that we're going to talk about, man, I just hate this so much. I hate this because younger me would have died for this sort of thing. I want you guys to think about this. Really think. If you weren't around in this era, that is totally fine. You probably knew older people who were, or maybe you witnessed it online or through videos or whatever. When we were younger and we did cosplay, it was not a socially accepted thing at all. And most of the platforms that you would use to like manage going to events and talking about them and stuff was literally like the convention blogs online, the convention websites, fan sites, people's personal websites, even like super old school like YouTube, people would post like vlogs and, walk along with me and like check out this event or whatever. It was very much fan based, but secretly everyone wanted to feel accepted as a cosplayer. We wanted to not just connect with other cosplayers, we wanted to be seen. We wanted to be like taken seriously. And then Heroes of Cosplay showed up on Sci-Fi Channel and people were like, wow, cosplayers are actually like kind of cool. They're super invented. Oh my God, like Adam Savage knows cosplayers and is like an advocate for cosplaying. Like how cool. And then suddenly it was like, oh, cosplayers are interesting. They do have a like kind of seriously cool hobby. But not only that, we need to use them as advertising because these people have ka-ching money. And overnight, we went from social outcasts to advertised on every event everywhere. I am talking about designer car shows and designer brands. I am talking about seeing these huge inner city cosplay conventions and all of their marketing is literally cosplayers who are competing, cosplayers who are just going for fun, cosplay influencers, like all of this stuff. And with that, they started doing something to try to get more cosplayers to come, because cosplay to them is free marketing, which is advertising cosplay areas and things for the cosplayers themselves. So it's like, if you have a fan-based event, we go because we like the industry stuff. Like I like to go to the big panels where it's like Yen Press or the video game companies, and see like what they're releasing, what they're talking about. I always find that's really interesting. But when an event is like, hey, we are a huge advocate for cosplay, we have cosplay backgrounds, we have repair stations, we have maybe cosplay influencers that you can meet there and you can like buy their merch, or we, you know, get voice actors to come in and like sign your stuff, and like you can meet them in costume. Those are pretty big pulls for people to go to your event. And when you go online and you see their website is all just cosplay pictures, it is literally just cosplayers as much as you can go. When you go to these events and the areas that they have advertised as being for cosplayers are their most low cost, low effort areas, I'm like, okay, can we just stop pretending? It is clear you do not care about cosplayers. Like, give us a good background area, or don't give us one at all. And to compare this, I want to bring up Emerald City. They have made a huge effort to have really cool backgrounds that are free to use. They are just open. You can walk up and use them whenever they want. And they actually put a good amount of effort into making sure that they are fun. So at Emerald City, they have different areas. One of them was like a Japanese tea room with like tea blossom or cherry blossoms around it. When I wore my Sailor Moon, I took pictures there and it was really cute. I love how they make a setting. It is not just a blank flat background. It is like seating and pillows and a table and like maybe even some like things out you can hold or touch. They also had a classroom setting where it looked literally like a Japanese classroom with the desks, because that's the thing, guys, like a lot of these animes you're going to be cosplaying from, that works with the background. So when you've been to areas like that and you're like, oh wow, this was really cool. When you go to a cosplay marketed event and they have a literal flat background up in a shady, dark area that looks like it was put up in 2 minutes by people who do not give, they don't give two cares about cosplay. It feels actually insulting, because where is your person that's in charge of this? When I went to SummerCon recently, which I love going to SummerCon, it's a really cool gem of a convention. They have started advertising as like super cosplay friendly, and we love cosplayers, and we have a cosplay repair station, we have a resting station. Walking into the tent they set up, which was clearly 80 something degrees, with no air conditioning, no airflow. It was humid, it was hot, it was miserable in there. And that was your cosplay resting area, with water bottles just strung all over a bunch of 6x2 tables and backgrounds that are in this darkly lit tent. Like, guys, what is going on? I don't care how much words you use. The actions that you show us are showing you don't care about cosplayers. Maybe actually ask cosplayers what they'd want and how you could improve these events, and then take that and actually make those improvements. Don't say like, oh yeah, you can let us know your thoughts and blah, blah, blah. No, actually like do the changes that people are asking you to do, because most of the time it is literally like, don't put up crappy backgrounds. Like if you can't afford a super nice background, that's fine, but maybe like find an outdoor area and put an arch around it. Or maybe like don't have it in a tent. If the tent is going to be hotter than outside, which was 85 degrees that day, maybe make it open air. Maybe make it outside and put just a shade up. Like even just a shade with water would have been better than that. But it was clear whoever had put that whole thing together went in there and either thought that was okay, or they didn't go in there and check anything at all, which is even worse. So when you advertise as a cosplay event and then you're using people, like you're using the cosplayers as the entertainment, Because let's not kid ourselves. Most photographers and people who pay the big bucks to be there all weekend, they're going to get pictures of cosplayers. They might be going to do some business on the side, like set up photo shoots where people are paying them money and stuff like that. But really, like, walking around the halls, getting those shots, getting their business cards out to people, like, they're doing it because of cosplayers. So you need to thank the cosplayers by giving them better amenities. Don't treat us like trash and then expect us to still want to go. Just is very insulting. Now, the next topic that I am bringing up is one that I am seriously concerned about. I'm concerned about it because I've only been to one event that was like this, but I have heard many other cosplayers online talking about similar events that they went to. They were also very concerned about, which is large events that attract people who are harmful to cosplayers while you're advertising yourself as a cosplay event. You guys, I want to talk about my experience going to PAX Northwest, which I have held off because I have tried to do a review on PAX so many times, and it made me seriously upset to talk about it. A few years back, I finally got the courage to buy tickets to go to PAX in Seattle, which is a massive, massive convention, one of the biggest. I mean, I have friends that go to it that don't even do cosplay or like watch anime or anything like that. They just go because they like video games. And what better place to go than when you can see people compete live on a stage, or you can watch your favorite Twitch streamer like streaming live and playing stuff while they're there, or you can meet industry-led experts, check out the latest like released games and things that are coming out that are like exclusive that no one has seen. It's really cool. It's a very, very cool convention. But there is a little seed of evil that we got to talk about, because we have these conventions that are attracting what I would consider to be dangerous people, and then putting people who do cosplay in a situation where they are like not safe in any way, shape, or form. So when I went to PAX, I dressed up as Claire. No, I take that back. I dressed up as Ashley from Resident Evil. And I remember because there was a new Resident Evil game that had just come out. They were having a demo booth there. I was so excited. I was like, I want to get pictures outside of this. I love Resident Evil. It is one of my very favorite game lines. And me and my husband, like, that's one of the reasons why we connected so well, is like we played together and like we, both loved it. So going to PAX was important to me, dressed up, because number one, I love to do cosplay. Number two, I wanted to rep something I loved. But it was so overcrowded in that convention, and security and staff were almost nowhere to be seen. They were doing, I think it was a Fallout demo of one of the new Fallout games that had come out or was coming out that year. And like 3 of 4 computers were broken, or I don't know if it was a TV or computer. I don't know what it was on, but like the actual stations to play them were broken. And I kept looking around trying to find a staff member, and there was just no one at the booth. There were tons of game demos that were set up that were just so confusing. The signage was like missing. There was like no staff, or the staff was like over in another area. And it was just like, we're talking an event where you are brushing shoulders with people almost consistently through the event. Now, I had several experiences with people there that I was like really not happy with. There was one time where someone shoulder checked me, and I'm talking about like hard. I'm talking about like I'm in an Ashley cosplay. I'm in, the skirt and the tank top, and someone just rammed into me as hard as they possibly could with their shoulder, not caring, not apologizing, just pushing their way through the crowd. And it made me realize, like, damn, okay, if someone like actually hurt me in this crowd, that could actually be an issue. But even worse, it was more the mentality of like, it's okay to hurt people while I'm here, which I am never like. If I go to an event and people are physically doing something I don't like, that is like really, really puts me off as a cosplayer. And then, lack of security, lack of staff, like what if something happened and I needed help? No one's around. And no one cares. I've been to events where someone will do something and someone's like, hey, that was not cool. Like, don't do that. And you're like, yeah, like, okay, we're together, we're united. But that's not what it felt like here. It felt like we have a lot of gamers here who do not care about anyone. They will hurt you. They will run into you. They'll smack you. I had my toes stepped on multiple times. I had people accidentally smack me with shopping bags and stuff like that. So it was completely overcrowded. But even worse, when we were waiting in line to go play the Resident Evil demo, because it was like, it looked like a hut, like from the games, you had to go in the doors and like play the demo inside of this little hut. We're waiting outside. There is literally a group of people there who are like, I'm standing in line. They're maybe 10 feet away from me, and they are literally looking at me and pointing and laughing because I'm tall. I've never experienced this at an event. And it was like, they weren't even trying to hide it. It was almost like they were doing the thing where like you make fun of someone in front of their face. And all they were saying was, wow, Ashley's gotten really tall, hasn't she? Because my husband was dressed as Leon, and I'm a tall woman. Sorry, I'm 5'8". Model height here, baby. I don't know what to tell you. But the fact of people like seeing us dressed up and just standing there making fun of us to our faces, and everyone around could clearly hear what they were saying, and everyone's just like, not my business. And they're just standing there in this little group, like doing this. And these are not kids. I am talking about full adults. I didn't even know what to say. I just ignored them. Luckily, my husband didn't even hear it. And later on, I did bring it up to him. I was like, so did you hear what those guys were like saying? Because it was kind of weird. But if you're going to have literal people dressing up from your games coming to your events, the type of crowds that you attract are going to be based on the type of shit that you let happen there. And if you do not have the amount of staff and security going around, and if you are allowing basement dweller gamers to come in and run the show like that, guess what? Cosplayers don't want to go back. And that was probably clear why I didn't see as many cosplayers as I thought I would, because I know a lot of cosplayers who are only into cosplaying the video games they play. And when I was there, I was like, man, there are like hardly any other cosplayers here. What's going on? Oh, okay, now I get it. They don't feel safe here. They don't want to be around these types of people. And they're like, yeah, I'm not going to spend my money here. Very clear. So if you are a large event that attracts a lot of people and markets as a cosplay event, you know, maybe have more security. Maybe have people there who don't feel like they're in charge, like they can just do whatever they want. I did not like that. The last topic that we're going to talk about is one that kind of came to me recently. And it came to me recently because I have a major issue with us having cosplay influencers being judges in cosplay contests. I think that if you look at it from a very surface level, it doesn't really seem like an issue because you're like, oh, well, these people do this thing and they're influencers, which means they must do it well. Why not let them judge the competitions? Why does using an influencer as a judge for cosplay competitions feel mean to cosplayers? Well, here's the thing. Those influencers have also competed themselves, because that's usually why they've kind of gained or amassed the following they have. At some point, they have competed in some way, shape, or form. And you are literally pitting cosplayer against cosplayer when you are doing this. Like, have you guys ever been judged by your fellow peers? Like, have you ever had a class where instead of the teacher giving you a grade, your fellow students give you the grade instead? It is horrific. It is horrible because instead of using like a way of judging that is effective and streamlined and professional, you are now using the groupthink against itself. Like, when we have influencers who are judging these competitions, these influencers have socially changed the way that we see and the way that we actually physically cosplay ourselves. And by judging people harshly for certain things, you can actually change the entire group think from the inside out. And that is the issue that I am seeing over and over and over. We have parts of cosplay that were like completely not a thing 10 years ago that are now 100% expected. And I am talking about things like, well, this person, instead of hand sculpting something, they had it 3D printed, which means they tried harder, which means they're going to get a better score than you because it looks more professional. But here's the thing, guys, 10 years ago, 3D printing was not accessible. That was not a thing cosplayers were doing. It was not expected of them. And when you put in cosplay influencers who have sponsorships, who are paid for their content, who are given machines for free or at discount, or are sponsored with these brands that they make money off of, is it fair to have them judging a competition where they are going to now expect the cosplayers in this competition to follow the same set of unsaid rules about, well, you could hand sculpt this, but if you 3D print it, it's going to look a lot more professional. It's going to look a lot better. So we're going to score you on that now. I don't think that's okay. And I think in a way that's almost like insidious to have your fellow peers judging you. Where are our industry leaders? Where is the actual video game developers and designers? Like, I would love to see a character designer from a video game being a professional judge. I would love to see professional seamstresses who went to school for this being a judge. I would love to see people who work for Hollywood and make the monsters and make the stuff being judges, because here's the thing, they don't need to be cosplayers to be good judges of this. And in fact, them not being influencers, I think would work significantly better and be much more fair for the average cosplayer. The other issue with this is that you have to ask yourself, okay, if a cosplay influencer is judging my cosplay outfit, but I don't follow them online for whatever reason, like maybe my values don't align with theirs, or I don't like agree with the content that they post, or I feel that they are toxic in the community, or they, they're drama seekers or whatever it may be, would I feel comfortable having my outfit judged by someone like that? Probably not. And that is the thing, is like influencers can have a huge following, but also be very largely problematic. And the thing is, the events themselves don't really care about that. What they care about is the following that they have. If they have a huge following, they want that person judging their competition, which kind of shows that having a following is actually more important than the crafting itself. And it's also much more important than having your attendees respect the judges who are judging their outfits. So, do events hate cosplayers? Well, I don't know. A lot of these actions show they significantly do not respect us. They're fine pitting us against each other. They're fine causing us to feel unsafe or put in situations that we are not comfortable in. So the next time that you guys want to, spend money going to an event, or you want to put in a lot of work and effort to make a cosplay that is worthy of some big event you're going to, ask yourself, does this event respect me as a cosplayer? Do they put in any effort or funds to make sure that I myself am having a good time, because I'm going to end up on their front page as their marketing? When they offer things like free photographers, do those pictures ever turn up anywhere? Like, where is the responsibility in that? So that is where I'm going to end today's video. And I hope you guys got, some good information. I gave you a lot to think about. I really want to hear your thoughts. Do you guys see this? Have you experienced it? What do you do about events that treat you like this? So anyways, guys, I'll be back for more videos. Have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.